The average person spends about a third of their life sleeping. Sleep is essential. It is as important to our bodies as eating, drinking, and breathing. We tend to think of sleep as a time when the mind and body shuts down. However, sleep is an active process that affects both your physical and mental well-being. When you sleep, your body rests and restores its energy levels. In order to understand the importance of sleep, we need to first define sleep and understand its primary functions. So what is sleep? Sleep is a natural, restorative physiological process that is characterized by perceptual disengagement and must be rapidly reversible. There are two primary functions. The first is a high-order cognitive function, which involves mechanisms of learning, memory, and synaptic plasticity. The second is a restorative function, which includes the maintenance of brain energy metabolism, macromolecular biosynthesis, and the removal of metabolic waste. We all have an internal clock that regulates certain biological functions over a 24-hour period. That clock is referred to as your circadian rhythm. Patterns of hormone production, appetite, and cell regeneration are associated with a person's circadian rhythm. And circadian rhythms play a significant role in determining your sleep-wake cycle. Sleep is prompted by natural cycles of activity in the brain and consists of two basic states: non-rapid eye movement sleep, also known as non-REM sleep, and rapid eye movement sleep, also known as REM sleep. When we first fall asleep, we enter non-REM sleep, which is divided into 3 stages, with each stage becoming a deeper sleep. Stages 1 and 2 are light stages of sleep from which we can be easily awakened. Stage 3 is a deeper stage that is characterized by delta brainwaves. Your breathing becomes deeper, the body will repair and regrow tissue, your immune system will strengthen, and you may feel disoriented if you're awoken during this stage. Generally, after going through the non-REM stages, we enter stage 4, otherwise known as REM sleep. Most sleeping occurs during this phase. Each of these cycles lasts around 90 minutes, and we need to experience all 4 stages in order to wake up well rested. We typically spend more than 2 hours each night dreaming. REM sleep stimulates the brain regions used in learning. One study found that REM sleep affects learning of certain mental skills. People taught a skill and then deprived of non-REM sleep could recall what they had learned after sleeping. However, people deprived of REM sleep could not. Sleep debt is the difference between the amount of sleep you should be getting and the amount you actually get. Insufficient sleep adversely affects how the body functions. Experts say that if you feel drowsy during the day, even during boring activities, you haven't had enough sleep. Drowsiness is red alert. Sleep-deprived people who are tested by using a driving simulator or by performing a hand-eye coordination task perform as badly as or worse than those who are intoxicated. Driver fatigue is responsible for an estimated 100,000 motor vehicle accidents and 1,500 deaths each year, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Since drowsiness is the brain's last step before falling asleep, driving while drowsy can, and often does, lead to disaster. Caffeine and other stimulants can't overcome the effects of severe sleep deprivation. If you have trouble keeping your eyes focused, if you can't stop yawning, or if you can't remember driving the last few miles, you are definitely too drowsy to be driving safely. When someone doesn't feel well rested by their sleep, it's typically because they didn't obtain enough hours to meet their needs. However, there are other possible causes of poor sleep quality. If you have a sleep disorder, for example, such as insomnia, sleep apnea, or circadian rhythm sleep disorders, this could also lead to symptoms that are similar to those that could occur with a sleep debt. Insomnia is difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, even when a person has a chance to do so. People with insomnia can feel dissatisfied with their sleep and usually experience one or more of the following symptoms: fatigue, low energy, difficulty concentrating, mood disturbances, and decreased performance in work or at school. Sleep apnea is a potentially serious sleep disorder in which breathing repeatedly stops and starts. If you snore loudly and feel tired even after a full night's sleep, you might have sleep apnea. Obstructive sleep apnea is caused by a blockage of the airway, usually when the soft tissue in the back of the throat collapses during sleep. Parasomnias are types of disturbing sleep disorders that can happen just before you fall asleep, while you're waking up, or while you're sleeping. These include nightmares, night terrors, sleepwalking, and paralysis. It's most common in children who have neurological or psychiatric conditions such as epilepsy or ADHD. A sleep disorder can affect your overall health, safety, and quality of life. Sleep deprivation can affect your ability to drive safely and increase your risk of other health problems. If you regularly experience trouble sleeping, you can start by tracking your symptoms and sleep patterns, and then making healthy changes to your daytime habits and bedtime routine. If self-help doesn't do the trick, you can turn to sleep specialists who are trained in sleep medicine to identify the underlying causes of your sleeping problem and find ways to improve your sleep and quality of life. Sleep is essential. In the short term, a lack of adequate sleep can affect judgment, mood, ability to learn and retain information, and may increase the risk of serious accidents and injury. In the long term, chronic sleep deprivation may lead to a host of health problems, including obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and even early mortality. The most important thing you can do for yourself and others is get a good night's rest. Remember, drowsiness is red alert. Keeping yourself well rested is not only a service to yourself, but to society as a whole.